Imagine a world cloaked in mist and shadow, a time long before cities, before empires, before history itself was written. This was the Pleistocene epoch, an age ruled by giants, and among these titans, one predator reigned supreme, a creature whose very name echoes through millennia with a chilling resonance: Smilodon, the saber-toothed tiger. This wasn't just a big cat. This was a walking arsenal. Picture a beast the size of a modern lion, but far more robust, with a chest like a barrel and limbs of pure, condensed power. It could weigh up to 800 pounds, a muscular force of nature designed for ambush and overwhelming strength. But its true terror, its calling card, were those teeth, canines that could grow up to 11 inches long, not for slicing, but for stabbing. They were curved daggers, shaped to sever arteries and crush windpipes in a single, devastating bite. And who dared to share this brutal world with such a monster? Our ancestors, not the humans you see today, but beings like Homo habilis, and later Homo erectus. They were smaller, weaker, and lacked the natural weapons of the megafauna around them. They had no claws, no fangs, no impenetrable hide. So, what did they have? Something far more potent. A mind that could think, cooperate, and innovate. For these early humans, a Smilodon wasn't just a predator. It was a ghost in the tall grass, a silent death that could erupt from the brush at any moment. A lone human was no match. A single swipe from a paw, armed with thick, non-retractable claws, could end a life instantly. The sheer power of its bite could crush a skull as easily as a nutshell. The fear must have been constant, a primal drumbeat in their hearts. Every snapped twig, every shadow that danced at the edge of the firelight, could be the herald of their doom. Yet they didn't just survive. They fought back. How? By rewriting the rules of the hunt. They understood a fundamental truth. A single stick is weak, but a bundle of sticks is strong. Alone, they were prey. Together, they were a force. This was the dawn of coordinated strategy. Imagine a hunting party, not of mighty warriors, but of determined survivors. They've spotted a Smilodon, perhaps a lone individual separated from its social group, or one that's just made a kill and is vulnerable. The plan isn't a direct assault. That would be suicide. It's a battle of attrition, a test of endurance and intellect against brute force. The first group acts as the beaters. Their job is noise and distraction. They shout, they clap, they bang rocks together. They might even use the most terrifying weapon of all: fire. A controlled blaze, sending smoke and flames to confuse and panic driving it out of its comfortable territory and into a pre-selected kill zone. The great cat, an ambush predator, is suddenly the one being ambushed. It's disoriented, its senses overwhelmed. As the panicked Smilodon is flushed out, the second group springs the trap. This isn't a close-quarters fight. Our ancestors were masters of distance. Their weapons were simple but deadly effective. Not finely crafted swords, but sharpened wooden spears, their tips hardened in fire. They'd hurl these from a safe distance, not necessarily aiming for a killing blow at first, but to wound, to slow the beast down. Think about the physics of this. A heavy, fire-hardened spear thrown with force could pierce the thick hide, embedding itself in the powerful shoulder or flank muscles. It wouldn't kill the Smilodon outright, but it would cause pain, blood loss, and critically, it would hinder its movement. The cat's greatest asset, its explosive speed, is now compromised. It becomes a wounded, enraged, but slower target. Now, the final phase begins. The finishers. These are the bravest of the group, armed with heavier, sturdier spears, designed not for throwing but for thrusting. They would form a semicircle, a wall of sharp points, a deadly hedgehog closing in. The strategy is to keep the Smilodon's deadly front and its fangs and claws occupied. A few hunters might feint and dodge, drawing its attention, while others move in from the sides and rear, seeking an opening. The goal is to deliver a decisive thrust to a vital area of the neck, the heart, The abdomen. It's a chaotic, terrifying dance of life and death. One mistake, one moment of hesitation, and a hunter is lost. But the collective strength of the group, their communication through shouts and gestures, and their shared purpose, gives them an edge the solitary cat doesn't have. Slowly, through 1,000 cuts and a final, fatal thrust, the titan falls. The victory is immense. It's more than just a meal, though the meat from such a large animal would feed the clan for days. It's a victory of mind over muscle. Every successful hunt was a lesson, a story to be told around the fire, a strategy to be refined and passed down to the next generation. This is where our brains truly began to evolve. The challenge of hunting creatures like the Smilodon was a powerful evolutionary driver. It forced us to develop better communication, leading to more complex language. It demanded better tools, pushing us from simple sharpened sticks to stone-tipped spears, and eventually, the atlatl, or spear thrower, which dramatically increased the range and power of our projectiles. It strengthened our social bonds, because trust and cooperation were the only currencies that mattered in a life-or-death hunt. These weren't just hunts. They were the crucibles that forged humanity. The need to outthink a predator that could easily overpower us physically is what made us Asterisk. We learned to plan, to anticipate, to work as a team. We learned to turn the natural world to our advantage, using fire, terrain, and our own ingenuity as weapons. The shadow of the Saber-Toothed Tiger loomed large over our ancestors. But by staring into that shadow and refusing to back down, we learned how to create our own light. The Smilodon is long gone, a magnificent fossil in a museum. But its legacy lives on. It lives on in our ability to solve complex problems, in our capacity for teamwork, and in the relentless, innovative spirit that took our species from being frightened prey in the savannah to walking on the moon. The ghost of that ancient cat is a reminder that our greatest strength was never in our fists or our teeth, but in the minds that learned how to conquer a world of giants. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. If you found this as fascinating as I did, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing for more deep dives into our planet's incredible history. Let me know in the comments what ancient creature you'd like to explore next. Until then, stay curious.